Last night, the Clippers blew out the Bulls 120-93. They improved to 15-3 without Blake Griffin in the lineup this season. Griffin has been out with an injured quadriceps and an injured hand from a physical altercation with a member of the team's equipment staff. Now, let's take a look at just how much better the Clippers have been without Griffin. They're scoring nearly 6 points per game while giving up about the same amount of points. Skip, are the Clippers better without Blake?
Molly, yes, they are. And allow me to say to Stephen A., you were at the game. In fact, I think you called the game on ESPN radio. Am I right about that?
Yes, with P.J. Carlissimo and Kevin Calabria. Thanks to both of them. They were the experts. I'm glad I didn't bring them down too much.
Well, did P.J. get to speak at all? Or did he just take the second half off, maybe?
Well, I spoke when he allowed me to. He's the boss. He's the expert. I know my place.
It counted.
Yeah, is that how it works on this show, or is it the opposite of that? I think it might be the opposite of that.
It's definitely the opposite of that. You should be happy you're allowed to talk basketball.
I know. Every once in a while, I get to speak on this show when you just get tired of talking.
On basketball.
Now back to Molly's question.
On basketball, yes.
Yeah, on basketball.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm about to speak on basketball because, believe it or not, I actually watched the game on television from start to finish on ABC. I had the benefit, I got to sit on my couch in New York City and watch the game unfold on my television. I know that doesn't count, but this is what I saw on television. I saw a whole new Clippers team. I saw the ball move. I saw freedom of movement and expression. I saw a new man named Chris Paul, CP3. I've never seen him operate the way he's operating now without Blake Griffin, because all of a sudden, CP3 has the green light that Doc Rivers has always begged and pushed him to go ahead and have. To shoot it when he feels like it's time to shoot it, to score the basketball when it's time to score it. And we know he can. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing the ball move and freeing up all those three-point snipers that they have all over the place, including, obviously, a Jamal Crawford who just went crazy yesterday. The ball used to stop and stop cold with Blake Griffin. I've said this to you before. What I don't like about Blake is his usage rate always led far and away the Clippers. So if the ball went into Blake, it was either going to go up, as in shoot it, or he was going to get fouled and shoot free throws, or he was going to turn it over. He was not much of a passer. He does not make teammates better. We know about his gifts. We know about his physical gifts, his leaping ability, his ability to score the basketball. He's improved greatly as a shooter. A 15, 18-foot shooter, even a three-point shooter on occasion. But he does not help this Clippers team be better. So, again, I think they're flowing better. They're much more dangerous without Blake Griffin, which is why I say again, I would try to trade him before the deadline. I don't know what you could do. I don't know where you could get. I threw out Kevin Love. Now that his stock is high, that would be an interesting decision to make on both sides. But my point is that I believe that in Doc Rivers' heart of hearts, as gifted and talented as we all know Blake Griffin is, I don't think Doc Griffin misses Blake Griffin right now.
Well, Skip, you're wrong. And I mean that respectfully because I understand where you're coming from and you make valid points. But the reason why I say to you that you're wrong because it's fool's gold right now. This is not a team that has a chance without Blake Griffin as presently constructed. He's 23-9 on 50% shooting. He's a star in this league. It does, the movement does diminish a lot when he's on the floor compared to when he's off of it. You're absolutely right. And Chris Paul will shine offensively. What you're missing is the fact that you're still asking and requiring Chris Paul to do so much more when Blake Griffin is out than when he's on the floor, and that's problematic for this team because the more he does that, the more he may wane come April, May, and June. Now, Doc Rivers told me yesterday that Chris Paul's minutes are about the same. They've been very astute and very on point in monitoring his minutes to make sure his workload doesn't necessarily increase. but that's as it pertains to minutes-wise. When Blake Griffin is on the floor, even though movement stalls to some degree, you have to take into account the fact that where that helps Chris Paul is that he doesn't have to be involved in every single play, that there's somebody that can be given the ball on the perimeter and he can go away from it and somehow, some way, sort of like catch a break in the midst of him actually being on the floor as opposed to being involved with the nuances of every single possession. So that's something to be taken into consideration as well. Do I think that Blake Griffin should be traded? Yes, but only if it's the right deal. I don't believe he should be traded for Melo. I don't believe he should be traded straight up for Paul George. I would do a Chris Bosh, Justice Winslow combo for him, but I don't think Pat Riley would do it. But I would do something like that, sort of like a 2-for-1, because they need help in terms of size and athleticism at the 3 spot. Paul Pierce is older. Wesley Johnson, Mba Mute, you know, you don't know. Mute doesn't, I mean, he's nothing offensively. And Wesley Johnson, you know, is sporadic. He had a good game yesterday. I told him he needs to be more aggressive because the kid can play, and I like him. But he's more of a reserve as opposed to somebody that can start, give you some athleticism and the defensive prowess from that position. I just simply say all of that to you to say you need to get something like that for Blake Griffin, because let's not diminish one reality here. He is a star in this league. Everybody can't average 23 and 9 on 50% shooting. Everybody doesn't have the aerial assault that he brings to the table. He's improved his perimeter shots. He improved his free throw shooting. He's improved all of these different things. The problem is that, again, it's still not enough to beat Golden State. And if it's not enough to beat Golden State, then why keep him around when what you can do is package him to get something even more? Or, dare I say this, Skip, it's sacrilegious to say it, but I got to admit to you, if I'm the Los Angeles Clippers and I don't win this year, first of all, this is no knock against CP3. It's a testament to his greatness. CP3 loves Los Angeles. I mean, he loves it out here. I sincerely doubt he would want to go anywhere, but he's been in the league long enough. Kyrie Irving is a big-time talent, but he's not a floor general. And LeBron could use a floor general. And LeBron and Chris Paul are as thick as thieves. They're tight as can be. Okay? If I'm the Cleveland Cavaliers and there's a prayer that I could get my hands on CP3, if I had to give up Kyrie Irving, I would do it, because you're going to rebuild once LeBron leaves anyway. So guess what? I would bring CP3 to Cleveland if I could with LeBron. In no way am I saying that it's going to happen. Please don't get me wrong. I'm saying that's the wish list. But unless you could do something like that, to me, the only hope is to move Blake Griffin. And you can't move Blake Griffin for nothing. He is a star. And you have to make sure that you get, if not a first-tier star, a second-tier star, along with another part to buffer, you know, or to replace his absence. That's what you need. As constructed, they can't beat the Golden State Warriors, even though they think they can. I don't believe they can. But Blake Griffin is a star in this league, and I'm not going to just sit there and say they're better without him, because they're not better without him. They're just not better than the Golden State Warriors.
Okay, but remember, from what I'm seeing of the Warriors, although they had their scare at Philadelphia, from what I saw in the second, third, and fourth quarters last night at Madison Square Garden, I feel like the Clippers could add Melo and Paul George and keep Blake Griffin, and they still couldn't beat Golden State, because Golden State's just on another level right now. But back to Blake Griffin, when you keep saying 23 and 9, to me, that's fool's gold. Like, that doesn't get the Clippers anywhere, and I'm sure you can tell me what you heard, but it sounds like they're pretty down on Blake Griffin right now. Character-wise, they're not sure about him. So to me, it just seems like it clarified. The whole situation clarified when he was out. As soon as he was out of sight, as you said, he didn't come to the game yesterday. It just seems like a cloud got lifted off the team, and they're playing, or Friday, yeah. And that they just play so much freer without him.
Well, they do play freer without him, but that's now. It's January. I'm saying that let's not get fooled. January is not April, May, and June. And you're going to need Blake Griffin in order to have a chance. Are they down on him? The operative word, the appropriate word is disappointed. They're disappointed that he would do what he did. They're disappointed that he will put himself in this position, and they consider it a relatively selfish move that he would sit there and not think about the team and just overreact the way that he did. But everybody there said he's a really good guy who just did a dumb thing. And I agree with that. He's a bit too damn sensitive. I'm going to tell you that right now. I mean, I'm trying to tell you right now, the slightest insult, I mean, he's up in a tizzy. You know, you got to put on your big boy pants and just shrug it off and understand that somebody denigrating what you've done is entirely different than denigrating who you are. Blake Griffin is a good guy. Blake Griffin is not a bad person. He made a dumb mistake. It was wrong for him to do that. He should apologize to the kid and move forward. Outside of that, he just has to stop being so damn sensitive. That's his problem. Because I'm telling you again, this is what happened. And I got it from several reliable sources. The dude was joking around with him and told him, man, we better without you. And Blake Griffin just cracked him. And when he cracked him, then he leaves the restaurant, comes outside and cracks him again. That's just dumb. It's just dumb and overly sensitive. Overly sensitive. Put on your big boy pants and stop acting out and stop being so damn sensitive. That's Blake Griffin's problem. A little bit too sensitive. That's all it is. Outside of that, he's a good guy, and he's a star in this league, and he should be respected as such.
All right, we'll see how it all shakes out. The Clippers' next game is Wednesday, 10:30 Eastern on ESPN. They host the Timberwolves, and disappointed, also an appropriate word for this next subject. Back to the NFL and Johnny Manziel back in the news for all the wrong reasons. We'll get into the latest incident after the break. Stay here.